Oh, hello. I am trying to address some of my anxiety about writing code in a live environment. Um, right now, I'm not necessarily going to be writing any code. I've already gotten to the point where I have something built, and really what I need to do is run it. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'll show you what I'm working on. I want to apologize for the audio quality. My computer fan is really working right now, and it's very loud. If I pull the microphone closer to myself, it will pull the microphone closer to my machine as well. No matter how I position it, let me get some earphones on. No matter how I position things, I'm unable to pick up my voice adequately without picking up the sound of this fan. So I'm going to apologize for that. But this is code I've written. So right now I have about 4,200 candidates in a database, candidates for state level elections between state houses, general assemblies, and state senates. The API I'm using to look up the name of, or to look up about 1,000 calls a day. I'm doing 900 just in case anything happens where the module throws some kind of unexpected error. I can continue to call this API 100 or so times, which should be plenty to diagnose the problem, figure out what's gone wrong, and doing 900 a day, I should still be able to finish this on schedule. I should still be able to, 9, 18, 27, 3,600, 4,500 in 5 days. It would take 5 days going using all 1,000 calls. So I figured I might as well just do 900 a day to make sure I got everything. So these are the IDs in the database that the gender lookup will store. It'll run through an ORM, and it'll assign a gender in the gender approximation column of a database that I'm going to show you after I run this. So let me just run this really quickly. Going to pull up a calculator because I do not like to do math off the top of my head. Let's see, 20. Let's turn the number lock off. 2609 plus 900 gives you 3,509. So from 2609 to 3,509 are the IDs that we're about to load. As you tell, I'm already several days into this. I already have several days of IDs loaded. So 3,509. And I'm just going to run this. And the next 900 candidates should then have a gender approximation assigned to them within our database. I will go into SQL, into PG admin To make sure that's the case, right after this. This just takes a minute to run. Should be done briefly. I am regretting the console log. I like confirmation that everything's working as it should, but it really slows down the process. JavaScript isn't necessarily the fastest language ever. Oh, I just realized I did not save before I ran things, so or did I? Well, okay, so I did save before I ran things, but luckily I did have the console log, and so I know exactly what number we were on before I killed the process. Um, Let me go from 2750, 2572 to 3509 and finish up. So definitely not getting rid of that console log now. It's already come in handy. And that should be it. Okay, I'm just going to check in, make sure I didn't do anything too destructive. Okay, count. Just going to run that. So we've got 3467. So the API that we're using is not infallible. Sometimes it doesn't know someone's gender. So essentially, what the Genderize API does is it has a bank of names, a database of names, and it looks at the frequency that that name is used for one gender or another. And that's why this field is gender approximation rather than just the gender. We have not reached out to the candidates to report back on their gender identity, so we can't say for sure which gender which person is. There are certain names like Ashley, for example, that are going to, in the United States context, have a high frequency of being women. But in, say, the European context, Ashley might be a man. Same thing for Sasha, an Eastern European man. It's a very frequently used nickname for someone named Alexander or Alexei, but in the context of the United States, it's most frequently a woman. So this is an approximation. This isn't the actual gender of these candidates. So I'm just going to show the candidates table. Just going to show the first 50 rows or so. So these are the candidates. Gives you their first name, their last name. The state ID is just what state they're from. It tells us when we acquired information on this candidate, when the last time we updated the row was, and then our best guess at what the candidate's gender is. So again, that's not infallible. We get a lot of these right. I have not found an example of a name that, I've audited some of these and I haven't found an example of a name that we've gotten incorrectly. So I've looked up these candidates online, and at least they're the representation, like eyeballing the representation of their gender. I think this has been, or how they represent their gender, this has been pretty accurate. But again, this is not them reporting on their own gender identity, so this can't be 100% accurate. But I think it's good enough to try and do some rough estimates of who we're seeing in our elected offices. So one thing you might want to do with this data, and one thing I've been really curious about, just the distribution of men and women in our elected offices. So I'm just going to do a count of candidate IDs, and I'm going to look at their gender approximation. And almost forgot the group by. That was on there. And I'm going to see, what did I do? I misspelled this. All right. Okay. So it looks like men hold office in a roughly 2-to-1 ratio to women. And now I'm wondering how that breaks down by party. So you've got a little over double the male candidates as you do women candidates. So I'm gonna see if this breaks down any differently by party, but I've got to remember where I put the party data. So the candidates data is here. No, that's the campaign finance data. The candidates, yes, party is in the candidates. So in addition to grouping by gender approximation, I'm going to group by party as well and see what that distribution looks like. Gender approximation and party. Okay. Let's also order this. Not kind of keep this straight in my head. Okay. So it looks like the distribution of men to women is closest in the Democratic Party. It's a 4-to-1 ratio among independents and a 3-to-1 ratio among Republicans. Democratic Party is still unequal, but it is the most equal. That's interesting. Learned a little something there. But I'm also wondering if there's any fundraising gaps. So I'm wondering if any members of genders in among Democrats and Republicans fundraise differently. Like if one gender is better or worse at fundraising than the other. And then, I wouldn't really be able to speak to why these trends exist. That's the one thing this doesn't give you is the why. But it's interesting enough knowing that they exist. And then, you can sit around and think about why that's happening. So I am next going to gonna do some joins. Okay, so the candidates, let's see, where are the foreign keys? Candidates have the candidate ID in the database, candidate ID. It's on the candidacies table as well. And the candidacy ID is in the campaign finance table. So I can link the gender information to the campaign finance information through the candidacies table. So I'm going to go ahead and enter join. Let's see. Intercies, and I'm just going to go ahead and alias these just so I can keep them straight. For my sake, for the sake of my sanity, join on cc dot candidate ID equals c dot candidate ID. And then I'm gonna go in another join. Oop. So it seems my camera has run out of battery. That's poor planning on my part. Let's see if I can resolve that while on the stream. Don't think it should be too hard. Let's see. No. Okay. Okie doke. I'm going to, let's see. Almost done. I thought I charged this thing yesterday. It does not have as long a charge as I had hoped. I've been playing around with it, trying to get it to work all day, so I should have figured it was draining the battery and then recharged it. Okay. I'm going to do that. Almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there. Let's see. How do you get to... I see. Come on. Here it is. Copy. We're gonna paste. Then almost done. About to be able to see me again. Come to think of it, I don't really know how important my face being on this is. Maybe I should have just kept solving the problems. But here we are. Almost done. Having to edit live. Okay. Let's see.